Oli, Pop Rock Radio. Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Rock Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hits från Sverige och ni lyssnar till Pop Rock Radio med Jamie Roxx.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is the Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. I'm your host, pop art painter Jamie Roxx, and this is the big show. Hey, just so you folks know out there that are listening to the audio version of this, we record a video version also. That's over on YouTube. There's links on my website, all that. I post it all over social media. And yeah, so you can see us, visually, if that's your cup of tea. If you're, I don't know, driving to work or something, don't do that. Just listen to the audio. We don't want to distract you and cause a problem. I don't want to have to give a deposition or something in some court. Well, you're just trying to do a podcast, Your Honor. Don't put me in that position. Anywho, first of the week, I have one of my favorite people in the entire wide world on tonight. She's been on the show a whole bunch of times. I've known our guest now 10 years, something like that, I'm thinking. 12 years? Wow, yeah. She was originally a guest. Yeah, kind of an interesting story. And, everybody's trying to do podcasts these days. How I met Karina, our guest tonight, when I started out, I'd moved out to Florida from California, and I had some of my, I don't know, G-list celebrities, Tom Cruise wasn't on the podcast, but some people I knew in the entertainment business. And I'm like, man, I know a ton of people. I can keep this going forever. And now, about a month into it, I'd run out of famous people to have on the podcast. So I started going through Kickstarter and looking for interesting projects and whatnot. And I would email people and say, hey, you got an interesting thing going on here. I happen to have a podcast. Would you like to be on and talk about it? And I got a lot of guests. That's one of the things when everybody starts a podcast, they're like, I can't find that many guests. And if you look, but that, there you go. You can find all kinds of guests all day long. But I think that's how me and Karina met, if memory serves. And we've just been friends ever since. And what was that, 6 albums ago or some crazy thing? A couple.
Yeah, definitely.
Karina taught me more about Kickstarter. She does these albums, she does these projects, she's done all kinds of cool stuff, which we'll talk about. But, she paid for all that. And everybody's like, yeah, Jamie, that's what bands do. Well, she does it with logistically clear. It's just perfect how it all comes to. There's a plan involved, as there should be, and it works. So we're going to talk about everything Karina Nistal on the show today. And of course, links are all down, clickable links in the description below. You're probably seeing her website flying around the screen as we speak. And so you can get to all these things. And I suggest you become friends with her just like I am, because she's cool people. Karina, nice to see you. Nice to see you,
Jamie. It's been a while.
I'm telling you. It doesn't seem, because I think, this month of December, this was my brilliant idea this year. December, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, real hard to get guests because everybody's busy. They're traveling, they're busy, they're making big meal. They got stuff going on.
Yes.
And so this year, I said, I am just going to have previous guests do a classic podcast during that month. And that way I don't have to bug anybody to come on the show. And that's what we did. And you were one of them. So in my mind, it's like, I got to listen to when I hung out with Karina from years ago, And the sad part about it is we'll probably talk about some of the same stuff. The world we live in, Karina, because you had just released, well, it was my favorite track of yours until Monster dropped. So I listened to Monster and I'm like, okay, that's my favorite track now. But you know which one I'm talking about.
Which one?
You were tied to a chair in it. I mean, I'm trying to think of the
American Dream.
American Dream, that's what it was.
Yes.
It's a powerful song, powerful video too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys doing okay? For those who don't know, Karina's in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
How's old
Yes.
Houston doing?
Houston's good, growing. Lots of film work in Texas now, and it's growing. Like now I'm kind of getting pulled away from music to do film stuff and commercial stuff, so I'm trying to get back to writing more music now.
Well, it's I get it. You've been were one of these people. Now you lived in California when I first met you. You were still out west.
Yes.
And I tell people one of the things I really liked about California, how at least when I lived there, is everybody was trying to do something. The hustle
Mhm.
was on and very
Yeah,
strong, and that's nothing special. It's just how it was in California.
right.
Everybody was doing stuff, and you had best do something yourself because all your friends were, and if you weren't, you look like a slacker. You know what I mean? You're
Right.
like, it's hard to have an excuse when people are doing stuff, and
Yeah.
you moved back to Texas and kept that hustle going, and I've always really
Yeah.
respected that because I get it. I've been self-employed now. Well, it's a new year, 25 years, quarter of a century, and
Yeah.
yeah, you know how it is. If you want something done, you want to go buy groceries or pay a light bill or whatever, you got to work, so you can do that.
Yep.
I like hanging out with people that get that because that's what I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Somehow it just makes it easier when somebody else is out there working hard too. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah. I'm always so inspired by your hustle, Jamie. Like I still have my Wonder Woman and my self-portrait. I might need a new one now that I have a new
Oh,
hairdo, but
that's right. The short hair. It's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing.
thank you.
One
But
of
no,
the
I love your work.
Oh, well,
And
thank you. Thank
and mom's is my favorite. I
It's
mean,
one
I
of
don't
my
know.
favorites too.
I
It
know
really is.
it's so amazing, and she loves it. She stares off at it for a while.
They had went to just so everybody knows, they had went to Paris, and I painted
Mhm.
a picture of her mom at the Eiffel Tower in the background. And I got to tell
Yes.
you, I used to complain a lot about flannel shirts, painting somebody in a flannel shirt. Fishnets are kind of difficult too. The Eiffel Tower is difficult. Everybody's like, "What do you mean, Jamie?" And I'm like, "A lot of angles going on in there. There's a lot of mathing that's getting mathed because it
Yes.
has to be right."
If
But
anyone can do it, you can do it.
well, I like paintings like that because they're kind of a challenge, and
Yeah.
it's not and I like any work. Don't get me wrong. I had a lady one time, a young lady, and she wanted a Mickey Mouse painted. It's three circles. It's pretty easy to do. I don't know, it took me
Yes.
45 minutes to paint that. It wasn't that big of a deal. The Eiffel Tower was way more involved than the Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
it's just, no, I'm not complaining about it. It to me
Yeah.
that gets me out of bed. I'm like, oh, we're doing this.
I got a
And
challenge
yeah,
today.
it's like, oh, it's another Marilyn Monroe. Okay, I'm not complaining, but when you've painted someone 75 times, it's kind of nice to get something new going. So, new look. Uh,
Yeah.
is it the same band, right? You same people you've been working with for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there some new faces and
There
whatnot?
is. There is. We lost our old bass player last year. He was having some health complications, blind Theo. And so we gained a new bass player, and he's awesome. Him and his wife, they're both part of the band. She sings also with me. She sings
Nice.
backups. Yeah, and he plays bass, and they're originally from Venezuela, but they've been here for like 25 years, I believe. So Yeah, they're great. I love
Nice.
having, and then the
Please
two,
apologize to them next time you talk to
oh,
them for.
I know.
It's
You
like
know
when I
what?
talk to people from Canada, I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yes, I know. Look, now it's like when I talk to people from anywhere, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
You, you,
but yeah, and then the other three guys, yeah, they've been with me for a while. My drummer, Lion 808, he's been with us or with me since, I mean, my first band I ever had, 20, well, a long time ago. I don't want to date myself. And then my primo, my cousin, he plays guitar, so he usually gets the riffs going and we sort of start writing around his ideas. And my trumpet player friend Gilbert Juarez, he's awesome. So he's also been with me for about 7 years now.
nice.
Yeah, these
Nice.
guys, yeah, yeah, and shout out to Emilio and Mimi, my bass player and my also singer. So
That's
we
awesome.
yes, yeah, we're a good group. We have a lot of fun.
I've been listening to a lot of. I like all kinds of music, all kinds of genres. People always assume they're like, we know, Jamie. All you do is sit at home and listen to Duran Duran. I listen to a lot of Duran Duran. It's true. It's very true.
Yes,
But
Durandra. So
I like all kinds of music. And kind of a funny story. A little. They'll never see this, so I can say it. I live in a predominantly upper middle class neighborhood. We're at the end of a cul-de-sac. We've got great neighbors. We don't agree on everything. Me and my
Mhm.
wife are the weirdo artists on the block. You know what I mean?
You're
But
the
we get
cool kid.
away with a lot of stuff because of that. People are like,
Yes.
yeah, they got the big Kamala Harris sign in the yard, but that he hand painted, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, yeah. Had a big native dream catcher on, the whole thing, feathers, the
Oh,
whole thing. But they overlook it. Well, they're artists, that's what they do. So we get away with a lot. However, our next door neighbors are very, they fit right in, and they're a little older, and every back patio is not really a patio. Everybody's made like the extra outdoor room, I mean, people know what I'm talking about.
yes.
So they have a big giant TV, and they every morning like to go out there and have their coffee and watch their Fox News. And
Oh,
I am also an old man. I like to putter in my garden and stuff in the morning.
yes.
I have a schedule. My wife thinks, she's like, I don't know if you're on the spectrum or not, but I have to have some things just certain ways. I like it that way.
Yes.
I do my
Yes.
morning blog. For those who don't know, I do a blog every morning of with art and stuff, an art blog. But after that's done, from like 7 to 9, that's when my dog gets up, 9 o'clock.
Aw.
I putter in the backyard in my garden and do outdoor
Yes.
stuff. And I'm out there and I'm hearing this fire. I'm like, I don't want to be listening to this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is going to make my plants grow bad. I don't want this. So I also have a big giant TV on my back patio, outdoor room area, and I'm like, okay,
Whose
I grew up
volume
with
is louder?
exactly, I, and I'm the kind of SOB that'll go out and buy an amp if I need to, a little gorilla amp or something, and hook in there. I haven't done that yet,
Honey.
but I didn't want to just blast them with Duran Duran or something. I'm like, what's nice in the morning? Classical music. So I blasted them with Bach, the
Ooh,
old Ludwig von.
that's why.
Yeah, it makes the plants grow better. I'm
Yes,
and we had a little thing for a couple days. I won, and now we both have our TVs, our big TVs at reasonable volumes. This
that's
is my
funny.
life, ladies and gentlemen. But the last week or so, actually, has it been a week since the Bad Bunny thing went down
Yeah,
and everything? And I said,
yeah,
you know what? I think I'm in the mood for. I don't know if it's inspired by that or not, but I really need some flamenco guitar going. I think it's warranted, and some classical Spanish guitar-based music out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
And nobody can bitch about classical music. You know what I mean? What are they going to say? Oh, that's just that crazy
That
noise you're
guy's too
playing.
classy.
Yeah, without looking like jerks, of course. They just have to smile and bear it. And the other neighbors, the other direction, is a nice couple. They're very cool. They moved in they're originally Colombian, and
Okay.
and really it was cool when they moved in, because up until they moved in, I was like the darkest person in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's and I'm out there walking my crazy wrinkly dog, and everybody's kind of looking at me like, shouldn't you be doing landscaping or something? What the hell are you
Oh,
doing? Who is this guy? And yeah, I had a you people one day. Some old lady said, well, you people. I'm like,
oh wow.
I was kind of, and folks, I understand people have gone through way worse, harsher statements than that. I'm not diminishing anybody's struggle by any means,
Right.
but yeah, it did piss me off. The flamenco music went up a little louder that day, let me tell you. No, I think it was German rap or something. I really, gave it
Nice.
to it both barrels. Should have put
Nice.
on the powwow station anyway, but I
Yeah.
didn't. But yeah, it's just a weird neighborhood to live in. And the Colombian people, very nice people, very nice people. They've always got something going on. The guy owns a construction business, and all the workers come and they
Oh.
keep their stuff in this big giant yard they have. They the winds had blown down the fence in between the two properties, and it was that houses, that lots, they needed to put a fence up, and they did. No one said anything. We walked outside one day and there was a fence up. I'm like,
Oh
that
wow.
just saved me $2,500. That's pretty awesome. But they're great people, and we are on very good terms with them. But they've been loving the Spanish guitar music. They've in the morning, the whole crew,
Sure.
kind of rough construction worker guys are out there just enjoying it, and
There you go. You're making friends.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But maybe it gives people, they think a little bit or something. One of the things I liked about the Bad Bunny thing is it really exposed a lot of people
It sure did.
that the world is much bigger than just this country in the middle of North America. Um,
Right.
there's all kinds of color, and I live in South Florida. It's like it should be part of South America, culturally speaking.
Yeah.
Um, it's very weird. It's very weird, but I think it was very needed. We're all dealing with this, and the political stuff has just taken a life unto, you know, it's in crazy town. You're watching this stuff happening, people getting
It's like
shot in the face and stuff.
we're
What
living
the
in an
hell is that?
alternate universe.
I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm glad my father is not alive today to see any of this, because
Yeah.
he was an
I feel
he
the
was a
same way.
Marine, and
Yeah.
well, I'll put it this way, when he didn't make it to 2016, but he was there in 20, when all that started, the run up. First thing he did is went out to his flag. He had a flagpole in his yard, ran up the flag upside down. He's like, this guy's no joke. And he
Mm.
goes, we need to be worried about him. And he was right. Dad was always right.
He was the same way. He was Republican, like NRA, and he said, "I'd never vote for Trump ever. He's a clown." And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, he's more than that.
Oh, he's just crazy. It's crazy. It's the stuff he says, and the Kennedy Center. No respect for the Kennedy Center. I'm like,
Mhm.
come
No
on, man.
respect for nothing, for no one. Like, if it's
Including
not
himself.
exactly, exactly. But
And then all
hey,
this. this, direct came out, I have two thoughts on the whole Epstein thing. My
Woo!
first thought is, see, Karina's one of my friends that I can speak this way to because I keep it pretty
Uh-huh.
even keeled, um, normally in my blog and
Mhm.
stuff. You don't want to piss too many people, but people can't be so. I got an email last week, Karina. Last week I got an email, and somebody's like, "I can't believe you're part of all this woke." I'm like, "It's in the job description, man. I'm a painter. Are you bleeding
Yeah.
heart artist? Are you? How can you be surprised? You know what I
It's your
mean?
duty as an artist to speak for
Yeah,
those who can't speak for
man. I got a
themselves.
college degree. So the brain works. How can you can't just overlook shit?
Right.
Um, I don't know. People are crazy, but no. My Epstein Island thoughts are Epstein may I put that in quotes, no longer be with us.
Mm,
But those
I think he is.
shenanigans just didn't stop. All the
No.
people that were doing that stuff, they don't wake up one day and go, "Well, I guess the party's over. I better, start liking
Mm,
mature blonde ladies now." No, that doesn't
mm,
stop. Those people
mm.
don't stop.
No.
It ain't gonna happen. And so I wonder who's running that now. You know what I mean? Because it's
Mm.
still happening.
I mean,
Um,
do we have to wonder? Do we have to wonder who's running that now? It's
Very
obvious.
true.
There's a lot of powerful names on that list, and they didn't get there by chance or by
No,
coincidence.
no.
So we
And
don't have to wonder. This whole pedophilia ring is what the big, what they've been hiding for
yeah,
all these years. And Epstein, I think he's just on another island.
yeah.
He
I
has,
do too. I
yeah,
do too. I mean,
he's
I've
just
watched a
out
lot of
there.
movies, and every other movie for a while, at least in the '90s and the early 2000s, was, oh, we're gonna give you a new identity. I mean, we all saw Goodfellas. The government
Mhm,
does that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you
mhm,
something else, and I'm not trying to say that people need to be taken out or anything like that. I'm not. I have to watch what I say in this time we live in. But you know, if this if certain people in the government were a real problem, you don't think Delta Force or SEAL Team 6 or something? Obviously, we could go into Venezuela and grab a guy. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem is that, you know, FBI is in place, the a any kind of, police are in place to serve the people,
Yeah,
like, they're supposed to be serving the people.
not the president, not
Right,
whomever. He's
right.
their boss, sure,
Yes,
but yeah, it's the people, it's the Constitution.
yes,
That's what you. And these people
exactly.
don't even know what habeas corpus is. They don't even know basic stuff. I mean, that isn't some weird, esoteric. Well, you have to have a
Yeah,
doctorate to understand. No, man, you got to take a 10th grade civics course. That's what you got to
right.
do. And
Yeah, at what point did we the people stop mattering?
oh,
And that could have been a long time ago, but it's certainly very clear it's right now. There's a
well,
big cover up going on and it's slowly seeping out.
absolutely. And people have warned us. I remember that video that Arnold Schwarzenegger put out, and he just laid it out. He said, "Look, man, I grew up with what was left of these people from World War II, and they're a bunch of mean, drunk. Their families won't talk to them.
Mhm.
Nobody will talk to them, and that's all they do is get drunk and beat each other up. They,
Mhm.
and that's what you're signing up for. Um,
Yeah.
And I think maybe the pendulum's starting to swing a little bit. I saw that gal that quit ice the other day, and everybody's like, yeah, but she didn't. She waited till now. Well, maybe I'm glad she at least finally woke up and was like, I don't want this stink on me or any more of this stink on me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a viral video. There was, maybe it was in Minnesota or something, but it showed her leaving, and she's like, people are out there protesting outside the ice
Okay.
office
Yeah.
or whatever. And she's yelling out the window. She's like, I finally quit my job. I'm not a Nazi anymore. You
Oh,
know?
wow.
And yeah, and everybody's cheering her, and she's happy, big smile and grin. And, and of course, there's some people, it's the internet. Some people are going,
Yeah.
well, she should have done this 6 months ago, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And
You
you're
should have
right.
had
She
better
probably should have.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't. But
Yep.
she at least did it now. I can't fault her for that. But I don't know, man. They ran him out of Minneapolis, so we will. That was definitely a win
Yeah,
for the
that was a
silent
win.
community. You know,
That was a
hopefully
win.
it's. I don't know. They're talking these midterms, and well, he's just going to cancel the midterms. I don't know if people, the villagers after Minneapolis, the villagers saw that torches and pitchforks can work. You know what I mean? I don't. If they cancel your right to vote, which they're trying to do on
Mhm.
all these ways, people are going to
Right.
freak out. I think people are going
Yeah.
to really freak out.
People
And
are already freaking out.
absolutely, but it's been, for the most part, peacefully done. Peacefully done. All that
Yeah.
they shot some lady in the face, killed that guy in cold blood, and nobody started anything. They couldn't say,
Yeah.
well, we have to take over everything now and put it on complete lockdown.
And all the
Uh,
ones that aren't being publicized, because there's more than just Pretty and Good. There's a lot
yeah.
of others that aren't being publicized that deserve to be publicized.
Oh, I
The
agree.
people in detention centers, I mean, it's awful.
It's internment camps. Are you kidding?
Mhm.
I just don't understand. You know, I,
I know.
and it just, I'll tell you, I was talking to my wife the other night about this. We were laying in bed, getting ready to go to bed, sleep. You know how you do. And you talk to your significant other and kind of unload a little bit.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and, I was telling her, I said, I can't believe one of the things that really bothers me in the era of idiocy that we find ourselves in is, and call it naivete, whatever you want to call it. I've always thought the best about people for the most part. People are like, what are you
Mhm.
talking about, Jamie? You're pretty cynical. No, I really am not. I I believed in, and notice the ED on believe there, folks. I believed when the chips were down, people would do the right thing. I'm not so sure of that anymore. And I couldn't believe the amount of people that I respected and that I lived around, that I came in contact with, were cruel, lacked empathy, narcissistic. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm surrounded by all these assholes. I've always subscribed to the theory of a couple in 100. You put 100 people in a room, there's going to be a couple jerks, a couple creeps.
Yeah.
It just is in that scenario. I didn't think
Right.
there'd be 45 of them. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Or
yeah.
30 of them. And I found that very distressing, that thought, that, geez, come on, folks, come on, you know? And it makes our job as artists hard because
Yes.
we're shouting from the rooftops and, about all of this and in the ways we shout, which is our art, your music, you know what I mean? And it's hard I don't want to paint, and I know this goes against my punk rock upbringing, but I don't want to just paint a painting that pisses people off. I want it to
Right.
inform them of what I have to say. I want that connection conveyed. And
Yes.
I'm sure you're that way with your music.
Oh
You don't
yeah.
want to just piss somebody off. That's not
Right.
your audience. Oh, I'm going to make
Yeah.
this to piss people off. No, I'm trying to say something. Listen.
Exactly. But you want to stand for something and you want others to know where you stand respectfully. Like
Yeah.
I'm not out to like ruffle any feathers, but at the same time, I'm not going to hold back.
No, no. And you have to speak it. I wanted to ask you. Now you're come from an immigrant family, obviously, and whatnot. And I say that because of your art, your music, and knowing you and everything. But growing
Yes.
up, you grew up in the America, and I don't think your experience growing up was probably completely different than mine. Everybody's experience is different.
Right.
Um, did you ever, in your young heart and mind, think that we would be where we're at now?
Hell no. Hell no. And I experienced light racism growing up, you know?
Oh, I'm sure.
But I mean, I feel like I've probably experienced a little more racism as an adult, or maybe I just notice it more now, but I grew up in Texas and Tex-Mex is a term. Like this is pretty much Mexico, you
It
know.
was
Yeah, it
it
was
was part of
Mexico.
Mexico. I
It
mean,
was part of Mexico. So we
and the
speak a lot of
culture, it's
Spanish.
ingrained into the culture there. Not
Yeah,
only just food and music and stuff.
of
How
course.
people, it's a big part of that.
Exactly. It's I mean, everyone has Mexican in them, even if they're not culturally Mexican. But, I grew up speaking Spanish. I mean, I'm bilingual. And, if I s- go out speaking Spanish now to my mom, we get stares. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, what's the problem?
right.
We're not discussing you. Why is Spanish suddenly so offensive to people? There's like millions of people that speak Spanish in this country, let alone this state, let alone this city. Like this is the fourth largest market in the nation,
Absolutely.
so
12-lane highways. It's a big city. It's a
yeah,
big metropolis. And it's I would think culturally evolved. People are like, yeah, we're lived in a big city. You would think you would expect hearing someone speak Spanish in Houston, Texas, of all places, wouldn't be a
yeah,
that's like a Tuesday. It's
it's just the brainwashing. It's the condition right now. It's a condition for people, it's a I mean, no
yeah,
one
it's
can say they're native here, like
right.
other than the natives.
And there's not
So
enough of them to even really say much. You know what I mean? It's just a sad
no,
reality. It's
they were
crazy.
stripped of their rights, which is horrifying in itself. I mean, they could be looking at us like, "Huh, you thought the day wouldn't come for you, huh?"
Well, that happened here in South Florida with the Cuban and the Caribbean
Mhm,
Hispanic population that wanted so bad to be white, to be part of the mainstream, and
mhm.
they showed their true. When someone tells you who they are, listen to them because they're telling you who they are.
Yeah,
And a lot of people here locally that I saw and know were very surprised at the turn of events and what I'm like, yeah, you signed up on, and I had told certain people, I'm like, just as a friend, I'm like, hey, we'd be at a party or something and take somebody
yeah,
aside. I said, hey, as your friend, I'm just going to tell you, And, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not Forrest Gump either. I've read some history books. I know the lay of the land. And I'm going to tell you, culturally, you're on the wrong side of this. You might want to start Googling some stuff because
Of course.
you ain't going to come out on the winning side of this, when
Yeah.
all the dust settles. And, and then people, oh my cousin, people doing GoFundMe's I'm like, you can't GoFundMe
Yeah.
somebody out of the alligator Alcatraz. It ain't going to happen, you know?
Yeah, I was taking up that battle quite a bit, just like the skin dial, the skin tone dial, I'm like, have you
Hmm.
looked down at your skin tone color lately? Like, let's not have, some kind of like image crisis, self-image crisis. Like, you have to know who you are. Therefore, you have to, if you don't know who you are and you're not defending your people, there is a problem.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm still going through that. I'm still going through that. And yeah, I mean, I thought for a long time I was clearing out my Facebook list. I lost a ton of friends over it, but there's still a few in there. And I feel like, okay, maybe if I continue to be vocal, they'll unfriend me, but they just keep watching. And I'm like, maybe I should unfriend them, like I'm just over the like fakeness of it.
Oh, absolutely. I block people that I'm not even friends with. I'll see them comment on some of
Me
their
too.
posts. I'm like,
Me too. Me
I don't
too.
want that.
I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't deal with ignorance today. I'll comment and I'll go block them.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, I'm an old man, and I've seen a few things, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
guys something. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, any of that. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I know for a fact that karma is a thing. Karma, just desserts and all that happen. I've seen it time and time again.
Yep.
And usually the longer it takes for karma to come around on somebody, the worse it's going to be when it finally does. I don't want to be
Yeah.
sitting next to those people at the bus stop when that finally hits, when that meteor comes out of the sky. I don't want any of that splashing on me. Um,
Yeah. Like Final Destination.
yeah, exactly. So I try to limit myself, and
Isn't it funny, Jamie? Like, isn't it funny how Hollywood seems to be so spot on predicting everything?
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Well, Kubrick kind of was onto something with that Eyes Wide Shut. Everybody's like, what? It reminds me of Snowden and all that. When that all happened, I had this joke I used to say at cocktail parties, and I thought it was very clever, and I'm just so funny. And the joke was, well, the government's reading your emails and listening to your phone call, and I'm like, well, I feel bad for whoever that got stuck with that job because my stuff's pretty dull. Yeah, I would hate to have that job. Um,
Right.
the boredom factor. And I'm like, they're like, you don't think the government's doing that, Jamie? And I'm like, no, I've been to the DMV, I've been to the post office. You ever go to the post office at Christmas trying to get something out?
Ugh.
I see how government things work. And it was a
Mhm.
very, ha ha, aren't I clever? And then it turned out Snowden was right. They were doing that stuff, and the joke no longer was funny, didn't work because they were right. And this whole stuff kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, we joked around about how the government's doing this or that, or, yeah, they're crooked. Politicians are always crooked,
Yeah.
it's in the job. But I didn't think they were actually where they brag about it. You know what I mean? That guy,
Yeah.
the head of the ice guy. What, I don't know his name. The czar. When did we start using those? That's weird. And they have
Terrible.
him on video taking a $50,000 bribe, and he's like,
Ugh.
"Yeah, I took the money. What are you going to do about it?" And nobody did anything. Why not?
No.
At the highest levels in our government, well, the judge has ruled against you emphatically. Yeah, nothing gets done. You've been convicted of all these felonies. There's no prosecution going to happen. If I go rob a bank and they say, "Oh, you're guilty, Jamie," there's usually some follow up to that. You know,
Right.
I'm going to need some money put on my books or something. I mean, that's usually how that goes. Not in this case.
There's no due process. Not for the
No, it just,
people.
I don't understand. I don't. I remember growing up with DeLoreans, and everybody likes Back to the Future and the DeLorean
Oh
cars.
yeah.
That guy got caught with all that cocaine and everything, lost his company, went to jail, had to pay all this
Mhm.
money, and things happened. And that guy was a millionaire at the time. I don't think he was a billionaire, but he was a millionaire. He had a ton of money,
Yeah.
and that didn't save him. He's still stamping license plates 3 months later. I mean, that's how it used to work. Now, I don't understand. I think what's going to happen, and I could be wrong. I'm just a painter, guys. What do I know? I think the pendulum is going to swing back hard when it finally does. And there's going to
Yeah.
be a lot of comeuppance that happens. Do I think it'll be World War II comeuppance where they're putting people, hanging people?
Mm.
It could happen. It
Yep.
happened before, you
Hmm.
know? Everybody's like, oh, this country's turning into, one of these crazy third world South American countries or something. Well, you better hope not, because when regime changes that happen there, tanks roll down the street over people.
Yeah.
The nicety and goes out the window.
Yeah.
Um, they take, all these millionaires. Well, they just came in and took all of my money. Well, yeah, that's what you
That's what they
that's
do.
that's the system you helped create. You can't complain
Right.
about it now. You know. Anyway, I'm sorry. You got me on a soapbox tonight, Karina. I can cut all this out if we need to. I don't know. Let's change things. Let's change the vibe. Kind of, because your art is fantastic. It gets me.
Thank
It gets
you.
me through it. I know I'm not just taking crazy pills. Other people are seeing this.
Of course.
We talked about the American Dream video earlier. Should we play that first and then play
Sure.
Monster?
Yeah, sure.
Folks, you've been waiting for it. Listening to me go on, and I apologize. I just get worked up on this stuff. I get worked.
I understand.
I just want to shake people. What is wrong
Yeah,
with you?
yes.
Um. Anyhow, this is one of my favorite videos, favorite tracks that Karina has done. It's called American Dream. This is off your last album. You're working on a new EP right now or something like that?
Yeah, we're definitely working on some new stuff.
Nice, nice. Well, this is from the last project, but it's still one of my favorites and still very apropos. Here it is, folks. American Dream. Check it out.
To the American dream. Where do we go from here? Tried to impeach, he did not disappear. We must question authority and what is real. Whatever happened to no one's above the law. This is our wake-up call.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. That was Karina Nistal. What a powerful video. What a powerful track. I I was in love with it when she first dropped it, and still am. Now, I saw on your social media, this was a couple weeks ago, your tiny. Can we even mention that? I don't even know. I don't
Of
want to mess you
course.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
So you submitted the Tiny Desk contest submission for
Yeah.
2026. And I saw
And we got
this.
accepted. We also did get
Oh,
accepted.
there you go. I know you and
Yeah.
I had kind of discussed, you had brought up
Yes.
the drum kit message. For
Right.
those who didn't know, a drum kit is the big bunch of drums the drummer sits behind. And hey, when I started out painting, I painted a lot of drum kits. Everybody I knew was in a band, and I was the go-to guy for
Yeah.
leather jackets and drum kits. And I loved it because it kind of reminded me. I'm like, that's Detroit punk rock right there, because they have the
Yeah.
FCK Ice on their drum kit. And Karina had mentioned, she was like, I don't know if we're going to get accepted because of that drum, and
Right.
that's a valid point, a valid question. You don't. This is the world we live in. We don't know who's going to be. Although,
Yeah. I mean, I read the
NPR,
contest
I would
rules.
hope, it
Right.
would be a
No,
little more
they're hip.
leeway.
Their funding's getting taken away, got taken
Yeah,
away.
they
So,
decimated.
um, so they know our plight more than anyone, about as much as anyone else. But I read the contest rules and I saw nothing derogatory, blah blah blah. And well, it is derogatory, but I stand firmly by it, and so do my bandmates. And my one of my bandmates brought that over and put it on the drum kit, and he never says anything. So for him to walk in and boom, we were like, "Whoa!" Like
Well, you
it's
know where his heart is. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
know where his heart is.
absolutely,
And I'm thinking there's a lot of people out there like that.
absolutely,
I really
yeah,
am. Well, I listened to, and it's cool. And Karina, you have to understand, folks, I hadn't talked to Karina in a couple months. We've been busy. It's holidays, stuff.
of course,
We have
yes.
lives and stuff. I didn't, that's where I saw the new short haircut. And she's got these cool pants on and some boots. It almost looks
It's a long
weirdly
skirt, Jamie.
paramilitary, you know what I mean? I'm like,
It's a
oh, this
long
is,
skirt, Jamie. It's a
oh, is
long skirt
I didn't know.
with a
I thought it,
split in the front.
I see. I see. See, in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's resistance and all this. I was,
You know sexy girl gear. Come on.
I know, I know. I thought they had twisted you to that point. Like in Gremlins 2, when
Oh yeah,
they made Gizmo into a BA. You
yeah,
know what I mean? I'm like,
yes,
oh, they pushed her too far. Here we go.
right.
Here we go. I gotta click play and listen to this, and we're gonna play that in a second, folks. But I was so impressed with this one as well, and it was just needed. And I saw this. This happened before the Super Bowl halftime show, and it wasn't on the coattails of that. I was like, ooh, this is going to lead up to change, and then the Super Bowl thing happened. I'm like, I was
Yeah.
right. It's happening right before me.
Yes, it was me.
Amazing. Yeah, well, you did your part, girl. It we all have to do that and be aware. Race. I'm a big Star Trek fan. One of
Yeah,
my goals in life is to paint on Mars. You know what I mean, or some in space or
yeah,
something. The little kid, that little boy in me that grew up reading science fiction and watching Star Trek and stuff is still in there, and that's part of it. Racist, homophobic bullshit ain't gonna get you to Star Trek. It just isn't. You know, it's you need progress, progressiveness. It's what how things happen. Um,
yes,
we live to be roughly what 80 years old now. That just
yeah,
didn't happen 100 years ago. People lived to be 25. You know,
Yep.
But progress and stuff made that possible. And I don't see why people get all on board with it. I'm like, really? You're happy? You're happy living to 80? What about 160? Wouldn't you like that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How about we
As
just
long as you're
eliminate
healthy,
poverty?
right?
You know?
Yeah.
That's a bad plan? No, we can't eliminate poverty. That would just be horrible. What kind of sick F are you? Get the hell out of here. You know, are you kidding me? Um, you know, that's just my thoughts. I don't know. Anyway, this is
You know
monsters.
what's up, Jamie.
You got me buzzed up, Karina. I'm telling you, you didn't. You just, I have an excuse to open the door. That's the thing, is I'm like the Hulk. Remember when he goes, my superpower is I'm always angry. I've been seething with all of this anti-intellectual, the glorification of stupidity. It offends me. And
Yeah.
I don't get, I, you're much more of an activist than I am, because you get the
No,
message
we're
out with the
activists
music and
with
stuff.
our art. We are
Yeah,
activists with our art.
I don't know.
We
You know,
are.
I tell you what, folks, I'm getting a little. I always say, eh, art. There's two choices at the atomic level. No matter what kind of art you're doing, you can comment on the world, or you can distract from the world. That's it. That's all
Mhm.
you can do. And I'm getting
Yes.
real tired of distracting, is what I'm going to say. And when I start commenting, you're probably not going to like what you hear that much. All you people that worship idiotic stuff are, you know, people ask me all the time. They're like, Jamie, what's your philosophy? What's your religious philosophy? I'm like, I'm a Spockism. That's what I'm a Spockist. That's what I like. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. You know, come on, it's basic stuff. Yeah, you know, Jesus Christ. Anyway, here's the track. How about that? I'm going to play the track now. That's what I'm going to do.
Yay.
This is the submission, and it's been accepted. So this is in the running. Do we need to do something, Karina? Do we need to, like, is
I
there an
wish.
email or something that we
Guys,
go click
I
on,
don't
or
know. If you guys want to email the judges, I don't know. I mean, that's all I can do. That's all I can advise, and I really don't even want to sway them at this
right? I
point,
gotcha.
because they did accept us, but they had 4,300, I think, submissions. So, you know,
Well,
it's a
here it
tight
is, folks.
list.
Check this out. This is Karina Nistal and the live band. This is Monsters.
There's dangers outside your door. No one is safe from anymore. Nowhere to run and hide. These monsters, they come inside. Violence in the streets. Where's our democracy? What happened to our peace? Loved ones falling at our feet. Nothing good can come from this. The truth that monsters do exist. History repeats itself. How do we protect ourselves from this madness? exist. History repeats itself. How do we protect ourselves from this madness? This madness. The children are inconsolable. Their parents are heartbroken. The debts are insurmountable. How many must die to protect human life? Nothing good can come from this. The truth that monsters do exist. History repeats itself. How do we protect ourselves from this madness? Monsters do exist. Monsters do exist. And though it's all happening so fast, the long shadows seem to cast. We must be brave enough to save our communities, our families, and ourselves from this madness. History repeats itself. It's true that monsters do exist. We must resist. We must resist.
And we're back. I did not fib with you guys. That's a fantastic track. Fantastic. And it's relatable. It really fits in this era. I mean, it just is. There's certain tracks, when I listen to, Beethoven's for release, I know that's was composed in the middle of the Napoleonic War. You know what I mean? I know the environment that came from. And I think people in the future, I probably won't be around, but they're going to hear a track like Monsters and they're going to know what the lay of the land is or was. It's a strong track. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
I really enjoy that. Now, as this is in this process for the Tiny Desk contest that's going on, this isn't released, right? You can't buy this on streaming or anything yet.
No,
until
not yet.
That concludes.
Not yet. We are set to record it on audio. So then it'll be up for streaming, on the streaming sites, which I've canceled Spotify because they support ICE. There's so many
I'm
boycotts.
waiting for certain contracts to run their course. Then I myself am doing something.
AT&T? Is that one of your contracts you're waiting on?
No, it's the green monster that you just mentioned, who we should not be mentioning. But
yes, sorry.
No, it's not you. You're not saying anything wrong. You're totally right. I get it. I don't know if YouTube Music's any better. That's the problem.
I know. And I absolutely can't live without it. And that's just so to me.
Well, yeah, it's frustrating. It's one of the many things that are. I have so many friends that are like, well, you still use Google and stuff, and they're AI, and I'm like, don't even get me started on it. It's just, I'm frustrated about that also. You know, that should be AI should be used to cure cancer. The thing I have about AI and all that
Yeah.
is it should be used for serious. I watched a documentary. I don't know. It was National Geographic or somebody, and they were talking about this lidar thing. Oh, and folks, before I get I just saw it in the camera angle here. No, I haven't given to heroin or anything. I gave blood platelets the other day, and that's what this big bruise thing
Oh,
is happening.
okay,
And I
okay.
will get not email. What does my wife call it? DMs. I'll get DMs about it.
Yeah.
Jamie, we saw your. No, I don't have the big bruise on this one, but this one, I don't know what happened, but my whole arm is. Took them a while to find the vein, is all I'm saying. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just posted about it on Facebook. If you don't believe me, I give blood all the time, and this time they had asked. They said there was a platelet shortage. I got a text. And so I said, well, and the platelet, you got to sit there on this thing for like 2 hours. It's a involved
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Was it painful for you?
it was a weird thing. It was my first time doing that. I'll tell you the thing that stinks is they give you this like this foam rubber thing, and they're like, okay, open and close your fist, squeeze this thing for 2 hours every
Yeah.
second, and I'm like, I got to sit here, open it in my hand for 2 hours. That was hard to do. I know people are like, well, it's not digging ditch. Try it. After about 30 minutes, you're like, this is the worst thing in the world. But no, give blood, do your part, you know.
Yes, I do as
Anyway,
well.
AI. Oh, I think it should be used to cure cancer. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot what I was saying. I was watching this documentary, and they were talking about this LiDAR thing, and where they shoot sound waves, or I don't know what it is, but they discovered all these ancient ruins in Mexico that they had no idea in the Amazon jungle and stuff. But this particular radar type thing, they discovered it with AI. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
that is
Um,
cool.
you finding some guy, some 18-year-old kid finding a pretend girlfriend because he's lonely on a Saturday night with Chat GTP. I don't
No,
find that cool. You know,
no,
do like the rest of us, learn some game, go to a club. That's how you meet somebody. Are you kidding me?
right.
I know I sound like an old man, but you know, I, I don't want some little town, all their water being used up because you were lonely and you wanted a pretend girlfriend.
Isn't
No,
that
if it's curing
crazy?
cancer or something, I can understand. I'm like, okay, well, we have to have this.
Yeah.
You're dating an anime character now that you found on Twitter. Come on, are you kidding? Somebody needs an ass kicking. That's all I'm saying. That's what needs to happen. If you're dating a pretend anime girl, you need to. We need to have a discussion. How about
Right.
an older man? I will have a discussion with you about some sense that you're missing.
Yes.
Am I wrong, Karina? Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
You know, it's that's what people are spending money on. Spending my money on that? I work hard for my money. I don't want to support funding that.
Right.
Um, come on. You're not even using my money to home the houseless? Yeah, come on. 18-year-old kid wants an anime girl.
Oh God.
I'm not paying for that. It ain't going to
Mm-mm.
happen.
No.
That's, again, I'm on a soapbox. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be. Anyway, folks, you're not. I guess tonight's episode should be titled "You're Not Alone," because I'm sure there's people out there
Oh,
feeling our frustration.
yes,
You know,
absolutely.
and when you think because it's easy to feel alone. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't have an anime girl telling you you're okay, how about a real girl telling you you're okay, but the world sucks right now?
Yes.
Do something about it. Come on,
Laugh to
folks.
keep yourself from crying.
Yeah, you have to. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
So you're working on new stuff with the band and everything. I can't wait to hear it. Will you make me a promise to come back on the show when that
Of
is ready to
course.
drop? You know,
I always
um,
do. You know I do.
I know you do. I know you do. In a perfect world, yeah, I'd have you on once a month at least. You're
Aw.
just, but I know you're busy. I know you're busy. One of the things, one of my little fantasies when I first started doing the podcast and the video thing, something we've done since, but this was back when I was just starting out on the audio. Is I wanted an NPR podcast. That was my plan.
Ooh.
That's what I wanted. An intellectual exchange of
Yeah.
ideas and concepts and with art and music and that, that was the goal. You know, and then I had to get people that made movies about zombies because I needed the ratings, you know? No, and
Right.
that's zombie movies are still art, folks. Just, you know, maybe
Yes.
not high art, but art nonetheless. Not putting any of that down. But one of the things is when Karina would come on, it kind of reminded me of that fantasy a little. She was my NPR girl, you know what I mean? And it was
Aw.
because you're so smart and you're so just you got it together and you're really doing this, you know what I mean? And always have. And it just impressed me. Just impressed me.
Thanks,
Well, very,
Jamie.
very cool. Let me ask you this. Last question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. The haircut, the short hair, did something happen to I don't even know if there's a term for it. You know when an avalanche happens, those small stones start and it leads to the big avalanche.
Yeah.
Or is there some small stones that happened in your life
Yeah,
or
it's
just all
funny
this stuff?
it's funny you should ask because I had been desiring something different for myself and I didn't know what exactly that was. And then I auditioned for a role as a cancer patient
Oh,
and I got down to like the final round and they asked me if I would cut my hair and I said, "Let me think about it." And they said, "It's not a deal breaker," which usually means it is.
right.
And I decided I would cut my hair and I said, "I'll do it if you pay me double." And they were like, "Sure." And so I was like, "Oh man, I should have asked for triple."
Let me ask you
But it was a beautiful commercial and it aired in New England during Super Bowl. So
the
I'll
Super
send it
Bowl
to you.
commercial. How cool is
Yeah.
that?
Well,
Yes,
in the Northeast, but
that
I'll
still
definitely send it
counts.
to you.
It still
It's a
counts because the
beautiful.
Patriots were playing, and I got
Yep.
to tell you, people were
You know
tuned
they
in.
lost.
Yeah, you know they only had the one football team for that whole area. You
I
know they're all
know. I
Patriots.
know. Yeah.
Um,
I'll send it to
they had,
you.
yeah, I want to see it. They
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll try to put it in the show here if we
Oh
can.
yeah, no worries. No worries.
I'll
That's
have
for
to
you.
look into the legalities
No,
of
no,
whatever you start
don't.
doing.
Yeah, their logo is on there, so I don't know
Oh
if
yeah, see that we
you know.
probably can't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'll send it to you so you can see it.
that's what I want. That's what I
Yeah.
want. Very, very cool. Let me ask you this follow up to that then. You know, I know, you know, obviously you're very in touch culturally with your roots and all this and that.
Yes.
Um, is it, you don't see a lot of Hispanic women with short hair. You just don't, you know, I
Right.
had asked my wife and, you know, she works in the beauty industry and stuff and no, and in
Yeah.
South Florida here. So of course, I said, "Is that a cultural thing? Like is that a like a no-no? You're not supposed to cut your hair, or do people, you know, did she have to go through some stuff? I wonder socially because of that." And my wife's like, "I don't know. I don't know her. You know, she looks great, but I don't know. You know." But I was just curious, just for my own
Yeah.
knowledge. You know, is that did people go, "Oh my gosh, you cut your hair short"? Was that
I
a
mean,
thing?
some people did and a lot of people I mean, I would say there's more people that like it and appreciate it than the
I got
other, you
you. I
know?
got you. I
Like,
got you. Well, it's the
there
modern
are
age too. Yeah,
yeah, one of my
absolutely.
bandmates, my drummer, he was like, "I really like long hair." like kind of like, why'd you do that, you know? And I was just like, hey, I needed a change, dude. I don't care,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
But everyone I care about, and people I even didn't expect, have said, I really like it, you
I do.
know.
I
Oh,
do.
thank
I think it's, and it wasn't like it
it's
looked bad
different.
before. You've always been a looker,
Thank you.
just a different type of looker now. It's very
Yeah.
kind of James Bondy, you, you know. Yeah, it's all I'm
Someone
saying.
said punk rock. Someone said punk rock, and someone said folk, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, it's real.
I'm getting
I would
so much.
say jazz lounge. You know what I mean? I can see that.
Oh, okay.
That's.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, one of the my first time to Paris, I had a dinner I had to go to at the this restaurant called Jacques. It was the
Yeah.
main restaurant in the Pompidou Center. And so I go in, and it's all ultra modern. The chairs are these just weird shaped chairs, and
Yeah.
it's very pinky out. You could smell the
Cool.
money when you walked into that thing. And
Yeah.
they had a little, I don't know, I think she was Japanese, DJ playing trip hop on a little table
Nice.
thing, in this very exclusive, very well to do. I wound up eating raw ostrich steaks that night for dinner because I messed up. I didn't speak
Whoa.
French well enough to. I tried to order them rare, and I ordered them raw, and everybody thought I was just a weirdo artist, and I didn't want to ruin anything, so I just
That's
necked
funny,
that stuff
Jamie.
down as quick as I could.
Yes. That's
Been
so
20
funny.
years, so nobody knows now. I can admit it. But yeah, if ladies and gentlemen, if we ever hang out, ask me about horse in Paris. They have that as well, and that's a whole nother story I may say in a future podcast. I cried when I found out what I had eaten. It's very true. I owned a horse when I was young.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, she kind of had that short hair like you got. I remember when I first saw that. I'm like, ooh, that reminds me of the fancy
Ooh.
lady in Paris, playing the Portishead tracks at that fancy party.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of those moments. Anyway, folks, I hope you've had fun tonight. I feel my blood pressure is so lowered after.
Aw.
It's like we were talking, we were talking off mic, and Karina had mentioned, we're both sensitive, we're artists, and we don't get to
Vent.
explode everything that's been churning
Yeah.
and burning inside of us. And
Mhm.
we're not alone. We're not alone in all this. And
Nope. We
I
have
get
to.
that. I just hope it ends soon. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I
Yes.
close those internment camps, burn them to the ground.
Yes.
We don't need those, and we don't need.
Leave
This
the babies
doesn't.
alone.
Yeah, this can't become a habit for the next group of people that people want to marginalize and put down. Um, because and it's going to be somebody else. It always is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll be some weird group that we've never even heard. Like people are giving Somalians a hard time. Like those poor people they've had civil war, and not with guns, but with machetes. It's a pretty hardcore deal over there. And you're giving them crap. Now, those people don't. Nobody deserves this, but those people especially. I mean, come on. Yeah.
And we don't even want to get started on the genocide in Palestine.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole
I
nother
know.
minefield.
Just
There's a
trying to
lot
wipe
I
out.
want to say, but I don't. I know Israel has atomic weapons. I don't want to piss the wrong person off. And well, I was watching this podcast and I lost it. And World War III. I mean, this is the world. It was when I was a teenager, and it was just the Russians. I could deal with that. Sting would make a video and have some statement
Right.
every so. Bono would
Yes.
say something. I'm like, yeah, I'm with Bono. I get it.
Right.
Now there's all these countries, Pakistan and Gaza, and I
It's too
get
much.
new. Yeah, it's too much. It's and these are people. children in subway shelters in Ukraine. Are you kidding? When is that war going to end? That war was supposed to be 2 weeks long. This is what, year 4 of that or some shit? It's crazy.
It's
This is why
devastating.
aliens lock their door when they go by us, because we are the white trash of the universe. Get it together, people. Get it together. You know?
We're the human trash of the universe.
It's true. They're like, let's get the hell out of here. You
Let's
know?
get out of Dodge.
Exactly. Maybe we need some real aliens to show up. Everybody's like, well, we were worried about the illegal aliens. Oh, yeah? Well, here's the Klingons. Deal with them,
Right.
you know?
Please save us. Please. Please.
Or just show them what some means to have a bunch of them predators show up. How about that? Anyway, that's a good movie, folks. That new Badlands. It's on Hulu. Hulu's not sending me a check. Why am I promoting that? Um,
Yeah.
it's not as good as Prey. If you haven't seen Prey, that's got the Native American protagonist, a Native American woman, kicks the predator's ass. It's a good movie. This one's almost as good. The funny thing about this latest Predator movie, and you'll like this from your actress, your thespian roots as well, is it's got a PG-13 rating, and the only way they got that is no blood. It's plenty gory, but there's no blood because it's all aliens and robots. There's not one human in the entire movie, so they were able to do that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That
Anyway,
is cool.
folks, we're out of here. We'll see you next time. Remember, the world's a weird place. Have your head on a swivel. Keep aware of your surroundings and be kind. How about that? Right there, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye.
This has been pop art painter Jamie Roxx's Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. It has been executive produced by Jamie Roxx, recorded at his studio in Deerfield Beach in South Florida. All rights reserved by Pop Roxx Limited. Hannah Oli, Pop Roxx Radio. Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Roxx Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hicks från Sverige och ni lyssnar till Pop Roxx Radio med Jamie Roxx.